This is the Royal Report.
Good evening and welcome to the Royal Report. I'm Caroline DeRusso and this is our Danish Proclamation special. Here's what we've got for you on the show tonight. We are live in Copenhagen, where excitement is building with just 2 days until Denmark welcomes a new king and queen. Plus, we'll take a look back at the love story of Mary and Frederik and how her Australian roots are being honoured on the big day. And the family feud that's threatening to overshadow the ceremony as the official guest list is announced. But before we get to all that, it's the Danish Proclamation this Sunday. And it's been a flurry of activity since Queen Margrethe announced on New Year's Eve that she would abdicate the Danish throne.
Jeg har besluttet, at det nu, der er det rigtige tidspunkt. Den 14. januar 2024, 52 år efter at jeg efterfulgte min elskede far, vil jeg træde tilbage som Danmarks dronning. Jeg overlader tronen til min søn, kronprins Frederik.
Now, the proclamation will no doubt be elegant and filled with tradition, but it won't quite have the same pomp and ceremony as the coronation of King Charles last May, which was the result of months of painstaking planning. But since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Margrethe has held the mantle as Europe's longest-serving monarch. And this week, the palace released footage of her own coronation 52 years ago.
Længe leve hendes majestæt, dronning Margrethe den anden.
Fast forward to 2024 and there is much to talk about the incoming Danish monarchs, Frederick and Mary. Now, Vogue Scandinavia has taken us back to the royal wedding in 2004 with the who's who of European society and royalty present and primed for that occasion. Remember that amazing frock? And a huge moment, obviously, for Australia when our Mary married the Crown Prince of Denmark. Now, Tatler has taken us through the Danish line of succession, and with the ascension of Prince Frederik to king, his son Prince Christian will become the Crown Prince and the heir apparent to the Danish crown. Frederick and Mary have 3 younger children, Princess Isabella, aged 16, and twins Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine, aged 13. Then we've got Frederik's brother Joachim, who will then become 5th in line to the throne. Now, we'll have a bit more later in the show about the family and the dramas that have arisen ahead of Frederick and Mary's ascension to the throne, and it makes for eyebrow-raising reading. There's Prince Frederik's rumoured affair with a Mexican socialite, Joachim's children being stripped of their royal titles a little over a year ago, and certain family members preferring not to turn up to Sunday's proclamation. And in the lead up to those formalities, the palace has released official portraits of Prince Frederik and Princess Mary. They obviously look stunning as always. And there's also been a number of editorials dedicated to Princess Mary in particular about how graceful her style is, from her famous deep curtsies to her best tiaras. Now, our favourite, of course, is the Danish ruby tiara from the court of Napoleon, which we have featured on this show before. And Mary's style has been much vaunted since she first hit the headlines. And of course, there are the numerous and irresistible comparisons with Catherine, Princess of Wales. Both women are known for their immaculate senses of style and their dedication to causes and patronages within their spheres of influence. Karl Lagerfeld even referred to them as royal sisters. And it's not hard to see that the future of these 2 European royal families are in very good hands with these exceptional women in senior roles. Now, not only do we have all the latest in the lead up to the Danish proclamation on this show, but on Sunday, Sky News Australia will be broadcast events as they happen. Mary the Queen at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be joining Danica DiGiorgio for that show, so please make sure you tune in. Well, excitement is well and truly building on the streets of Copenhagen, where the proclamation will take place in just 2 days, as the people of Denmark prepare to welcome a new king and queen. Sky News reporter Julia Bradley's in Copenhagen and joins me now. Julia, welcome to the show. How's the atmosphere in Copenhagen and how are the Danes preparing to celebrate?
Well, Caroline, there is such a buzz around Copenhagen at the moment. People are simply so excited to welcome in the new King and Queen of Denmark. You walk around the streets here and people are just expressing how excited they are for this moment because it's an incredibly rare one. The last time we saw a monarch abdicate was nearly 900 years ago. So it's incredibly rare and it's an exciting time. And we're expecting tens of thousands of Danes to line the streets between Amalienborg Palace, which is the official royal residence here in Copenhagen, and Christiansborg Palace, which is where that official proclamation will take place. So it is really a custom here for Danes to line the streets in the hope of catching a glimpse of the royal family, but many more people likely watching on from pubs or from home. Now, on top of this as well, as we know, it's not just the Danes who are so excited, it's the Aussies, because Mary, Princess Mary, who's set to become Queen, is Aussie grown. So we're also going to see the ambassador here, the Australian ambassador to Denmark, put on a reception for the Aussies in Denmark. There are about 3,500 of them, and we've already seen them having to shift venues because of how much interest there's been in that event.
Now, surely preparations are in full swing. What are we expecting on the day?
Well, preparations are in full swing. Absolutely, you've got that right. There are already road closures in place. I've ducked into some of the souvenir shops and you can already see items bearing the faces of the new King and Queen, magnets, for example. So what can we expect on the day? Well, as you mentioned before at the top of the show, it's going to look really different to what we've seen in Britain with the coronation of King Charles back in May. So it's not a coronation, it's a proclamation, but it is still really steeped in tradition. So the day is going to begin with Queen Margrethe going over from Amalienborg Palace, her residence, over to Christiansborg Palace. There'll be a state council, and that is where she will officially abdicate, and that succession will start taking place. We'll then see the new Queen of Denmark on the balcony of Christiansborg Palace. This is when that proclamation will officially take place alongside the Danish Prime Minister. So we'll see King Frederik. He will make his royal declaration. He'll also announce his royal motto. This is him really putting his stamp on his reign. From this point onwards, there's going to be so much celebration across Denmark. We're also going to see fireworks that night in Tivoli, which is one of the most popular spots here in Copenhagen.
Now, I've got a little under a minute left, but after the ceremony's concluded, what are the practical changes, for example, to titles, new coins and the like?
Well, that's the big one, titles. So we will see Frederik, Prince Frederik, then be named His Majesty King Frederik X. That will be his title, Mary's title, Her Majesty Mary, Queen Mary of Denmark, the pair also ruling Greenland and the Faroe Islands, and their firstborn Christian. He will then bear the title of Crown Prince of Denmark, so he'll be heir to the throne, and we will see Queen Margrethe maintain her title of Her Majesty as well.
Julia Bradley, thank you so much for joining us from Copenhagen. It looks very, very cold over there compared to Perth, Western Australia, but thank you so much. Now, Princess Mary will make history when she becomes the first Australian-born queen of a European monarchy. And nowhere is more excited than her hometown of Hobart in Tasmania, which is finding their own way to pay tribute to their homegrown queen. Sky News reporter Lauren Evans is in Tasmania with all the latest.
Celebrations are continuing here in Hobart, where Princess Mary was born and raised before she embarked on a royal fairy tale. Now, as she awaits succession to the throne, a commemorative gum tree is being planted in Hobart's Sandy Bay to honour one of their own.
Oh, it's really special, and the people of Hobart have really followed Mary's journey for many years, and were proud, obviously, when she was a princess, but now that she has this elevated leadership role, I think the people of Hobart are very proud.
The Hobart Mayor also recognised Tasmania's close ties to Denmark and its commitment to climate change, with a blue gum also to be planted in Copenhagen to commemorate the unity of the two cities.
Both of our cities are port cities. Both of us share Queen Mary as a person who has lived in our cities and loves our cities, and both of us share a commitment to action on climate change.
We want to send you our best wishes and hearty congratulations. We want you to know, Princess Mary in particular, we feel so proud of you. We feel like you're one of us, and we know that that connection will be lifelong. We hope that your reigns together will be so successful, so peaceful, so happy, not just for your family, but for your community, for your country, Denmark. We look forward to welcoming you back to Tasmania at a time in the future. But for now, we hope that you will feel loved and special and appreciated, not just by the Danish people, but by also the Tasmanian people. I send you richest blessings. May you have a long and happy reign.
The University of Tasmania, where Mary graduated, has also thanked the soon-to-be Queen for her dedication to the Princess Mary Scholarship Program. In a statement, Chancellor Alison Watkins said the Princess Mary Scholarship Program has supported almost 50 Danish students studying with us at the University of Tasmania. Mary's story and her commitment to education, leadership and service has inspired many, and we offer her our warmest wishes and congratulations on this historic occasion. The Danish ambassador to Australia claims Mary's desire to connect with people of all walks of life has never wavered.
She has continued to be a normal person and is capable of engaging with people, and so has the Crown Prince. And I think that in these days and ages, when your Crown Prince, your King, your Queen are still capable of engaging with people on a normal scale, that's something that really means a lot. And they have done that very much. They have raised their kids also as normal kids. They go to normal schools and what have you. And I think that is something that is really important right now.
The Tasman Bridge will be lit in Denmark's red and white in honour of Mary's succession to the Danish throne.
After the break, the family feud threatening to overshadow the big day, and intriguing parallels between Prince Frederik's brother and Prince Harry, plus back to where the love story all began and how the Sydney pub where Mary and Frederik met 24 years ago is celebrating the occasion. Angela Mulligan and Bronte Coy join me to discuss all of that and more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our Danish Royal Family Special here on the Royal Report as we gear up for Prince Frederick and Princess Mary's proclamation this Sunday night. Joining me now is Royal commentator Angela Mulligan and news.com.au senior entertainment and royal reporter Bronte Coy. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Angela, this has all happened very quickly. We understand that Frederik only found out shortly beforehand the Queen was abdicating.
That's right. Well, it's very surprised. It was only 3 days' notice that he apparently got. But I can actually believe this because the Queen, of course, when she stripped the younger brother of the title, she only gave 5 days' notice, which wasn't much at all. She's very quick to make a decision, but it sheds light on the fact that, of course, when Frederick and Mary were here in December, they can't have known that they were going to be stepping forward into this role.
That's just unbelievable when you think about it. And Bronte, look, we know that there was a bit of drama towards the end of last year and in the lead up. Given the recent rumours, do you think this was a risk mitigation strategy by the Queen?
Look, it's certainly interesting timing. It's been a weird few months for the royals, who are traditionally extremely popular. People love Mary and Frederik, and they view theirs as this fairy tale marriage. So when rumours surfaced a few months ago that Frederik was potentially allegedly having an affair, something which has been denied by the woman that was named at the centre of it, it really kind of threw a spanner in the works for the family. So the fact that this has come, after the Queen has been on the throne for more than half a century, and this has come just a few months later, it does send a message of family unity, seeing Prince Frederik and Princess Mary step up to the plate now and have that bestowed upon them by the outgoing Queen. So that will certainly help their image. It will also add further scrutiny. We're always watching them now when they're out. People have been looking for any signs of strain or tension. That certainly won't ease now that they're going to be even more in the spotlight. But yeah, it's certainly been pointed out that it's interesting timing.
Now, Angela, this isn't the only drama. We understand there's another split in the family is between Frederik and his brother. Look, we don't know 100% what's going on there, but do we know where this has all stemmed from?
Look, this, of course, stemmed from when the Queen stripped Prince Joachim's children of their titles. The four of them in late 2022 they were princes and princesses. They were made count and countesses. At the time, of course, they didn't know that this was about to happen. They say, even though it was apparently discussed, she came in quickly with this decision, and it caused a split in the family. As we know, Mary even stood up for the Queen at that time, saying that these decisions do hurt. But of course, the family have spent time together subsequent to that split, but they have, the younger brother and his family have moved to Washington now, so they're not that close. We think that the younger brother is going to come to the proclamation, but as for his wife and the four children, there's no suggestion that they are going to be there. What's worrying about this, of course, is that Frederick and Mary there's only one brother, so they need that support. Prince Christian, their son, is only 18. It's not like he can sort of step into the multiple roles. And as we've seen with the British royal family, if you slim it down too much, everybody gets quite busy and overworked.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. They do. Now, Bronte, like Angela said, you know, we don't think necessarily that the Prince's children are planning to attend. Given the nature of the events that happened a year or so ago, do you think that that has something to do with it?
Look, by all current reports, as we've said, it looks like they won't be there, which is, of course, drawing some parallels to some other royals that we know with recent coronations. But look, the statement even sort of echoes to what Meghan and Harry had put out last year when Meghan and the kids didn't attend that coronation, and that is that the kids have school, which is true. But also it's, of course, a really significant family occasion and a historic occasion. So you do wonder whether that is playing a role. I think it's very likely that possibly, you know, while things have been smoothed over to a point and they all spent Christmas together in Denmark, there is probably still some hurt there as they move on past this. It was such a massive event when the Queen made that announcement, you know, with the younger brother even speaking out publicly to the local media. So, yeah, I think that will take a while to heal. There's certainly some wounds there, and that may be playing a role in why he's chosen to attend and the rest of the family will stay back home.
Yeah, and I think that's probably right. I guess the point that I would make there is you'd think that they'd at least go to support their grandmother who's abdicating such a senior position that she's held for such a long time. For me, that's actually kind of the weirder part than the proclamation and the ascension of Frederick and Mary to the positions of King and Queen. But Angela, you know, it's not hard to draw parallels between Frederick and Joachim with William and Harry. Are there any particular similarities potentially in the deterioration of that relationship?
Oh, lots of similarities, of course. This sort of hurt at being the spare, and you know, it's a year on since Prince Harry's book Spare was published. Children fighting for their titles, a family decamped to America. The only thing that the younger prince hasn't done in Denmark's case is that he hasn't written a book yet. But yeah, there's obviously quite a lot of hurt and distress there, as Bronte said. But yeah, plenty of parallels, and it'll be an interesting one to watch to see what sort of support is there for Harry. Is there for Frederick and Mary? Look, see, even I'm confused with them. To see what support is there going forward for his brother. The other thing, of course, is that we know that Frederick doesn't actually want to be king. He's never been keen on that role. He's very reticent. He doesn't like public speaking. Mary's much more talented in that regard. So at least he's got her by his side.
Thank God, because I think he's going to need her just quietly. Now, Bronte, on the Donaldson side of the ledger, who is and isn't attending this weekend?
So we have Mary's sister will be there. She's really close with her older sister Jane, who lives in Tasmania. She was a bridesmaid at the royal wedding in 2004, along with her other sisters and best friend. So she'll be there to support her sister, which is fantastic. Sadly, Mary's father won't be able to make the journey. He's in his 80s now, and he's struggled with some health issues in recent years, which has seen him have to miss other important events in Denmark. But he actually lived in Copenhagen for years just to be close by with Mary and the kids. So I'm certain he'll be extremely disappointed to be missing out, and that will be felt by Mary as well.
I think it will, but it is totally understandable. Now, Angela, Australians love a celebration, as you well know, and the Sydney pub where Frederick and Mary met up during the Sydney Olympics is planning to mark the occasion themselves. What are they up to?
That's right. They're not actually open on Sunday, which is, of course, the day of the proclamation, but in the weeks that follow, in the next month, it's going to be a Scandinavian-themed menu. So if you want some herrings or roll mops, that pickled fish, you can head on down there. There's also going to be the something about Mary cocktail, which I understand contains vanilla and lychee and vodka. So lots of celebration. Very proud, obviously, that pub that was the meeting place for this wonderful royal story. So yes, I think they'll have the flags and the bunting out, and I wonder if Mary and Fred will one day pop back there and have a celebratory drink of their own.
Yeah, what a way to become a landmark in this country. Now, Bronte, a recent popularity poll on the Danish Royal shows that Mary remains very popular. The family more broadly aren't without popularity challenges. Can you run us through this?
So the family's actually been extremely popular for a long time. The Queen, the outgoing Queen, I should say, has been extremely popular. She's seen as extremely down to earth, and people just love her. It's a very similar sort of situation to what we saw with the late Queen Elizabeth II. And Mary and Frederik themselves are really popular. They're seen to be really connected with issues that the modern issues that people are caring about now. And Mary, for example, is engaged with LGBT rights, women's reproductive rights, and things like that. So they actually have they poll up in the 80s. But interestingly, Mary is now more popular than Frederik, and this is where the challenge has been. A lot of royal experts in Denmark have pointed out that has declined for him a little because of these rumours that have dogged him recently. So that's going to be a challenge moving forward as he sort of shrugs that off and steps into this new role and proves that he is a family man and dedicated to the job and dedicated to his wife, I suppose. So that's been something that they've had to take into consideration, but again speaks to just how important Mary is in the monarchy there and why this is such an incredible moment for her, but it's an incredible moment for the royal family there because they need her.
Absolutely, they do. And Angela, look, I've only got about a minute left before we have to move on. We talk about popularity polls all the time, and whether it's the Danish Royals or the British Royals, and how in tune do you think that everyday people are with the royal intrigues, and to what extent do you think they give credence to these sorts of rumours?
Look, I think that people are hugely interested. I mean, it's the greatest living soap opera, isn't it? And we've seen that with the British royal family for decades. And as Bronte talked about earlier, this alleged affair with Frederik. I think what they really look at, though, is ongoing character and purpose. We've seen that with the Princess of Wales and her legacy project with children. And I think we're going to see it with Mary. If you think about it, Mary lost her mother at the age of 26. The outgoing Queen lost her father, and took on the role of Queen when she was 31. These are both very, very strong women, very purposeful, very dignified. I think there's a lot in common between the outgoing Queen and the one to follow her. And I think people really go by character, despite them being endlessly fascinated by gossip.
Absolutely. Angela Mulligan, Bronte Coy, thank you so much. Now, while Mary has given up her Australian citizenship, we obviously still consider her to be one of us. And satirical newspaper The Shovel expects a good old Australian celebration. Princess Mary to down 52 tins of VB during Danish coronation in nod to homeland tradition. And that's the show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. The Royal Report returns to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time next Sunday, as per usual. But remember to join this Sunday for Mary the Queen at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Good night and thank you.